Oh, Daniel.
All right, folks, how are you doing tonight or today? I suppose you can watch this at any time. We're Tyrant MTG. I'm Daniel Starry here with Robbie and Jerry Prosky. I am going to open this Commander Legends Collector's Booster Pack. This is pretty exciting for me. I've never actually opened a box of cards before. This is the most I've spent on any Wizards of the Coast product other than buying singles. So we're going to get this going. Oh yeah, we got to read what's on the backs. This is pretty interesting. Command attention with special legends. Cast your commander in style with new foil-etched cards found in every collector booster. Each booster contains 2 foil-etched cards, 2 extended art cards, 10 foils, a foil token, and up to 5 mythics. Your commander deck has never looked so luxurious. What's a collector booster? A collector booster is the ultimate way to add unique and exclusive cards to your collection. Tons of foils, special card treatments, and more await you inside every pack. If you're looking for the coolest cards available, look no further. Well, we will put that to the test, Wizards. Let's get this bad boy open. Probably opening it from the wrong end, but...
It might be easier
From the top?
No, you're doing good.
Oh, wait.
You're doing good.
No, there we go. There we go. Oh, that looks cooler. It's got the foil. All right. Let's get started here. Now, this is my least favorite part. I've actually used scissors very delicately before, but I'm also terrified of cutting the cards, so...
Try chewing on it. Just chew full on the...
There we go. All right. All right. So we want to do it from this side, right? Or is it this side?
No, the other way.
This way?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
There you go.
All right. Dragon Mantle. It's pretty cool. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. And then enchanted creature has pay 1 red. This creature gets +1/+0 till end of turn. Elvish Visionary. Some more card draw there. So every single one of these is a foil.
Yeah,
It's pretty beautiful. This is cool. All right. Exquisite Huntmaster. This would be better as an instant, but
you can't have everything you want.
Squad Captain. +1/+1 counters. That's what I'm looking for in my deck. I'm building a Hydra deck right now. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. All right. Okay. I really like this. This is a cool little creature there. A nightmare cat.
You mind if I get the price on that real quick for you?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Just, if you want, go read it, maybe read the flavor text or whatever. And
She sticks to her chosen master, closer than their own shadow. Commanders you control have menace and death touch. That's a pretty cool effect to have. Especially if it's early on in the game. Always having Commander Sphere in any commander deck is good, and this one's a full art, so that's really cool. Soulfire Eruption. So there we go. We got a mythic there. Choose any number of target creatures, planeswalkers, and or players. For each of them, exile the top card of your library. Then Soulfire Eruption deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to that permanent or player. You may play the exiled cards until the end of your turn. Alright, it's pretty sweet. I like it. Some extended art land there. I got one of these earlier. Oh, that's really cool. Wow, that's awesome. And it's actually exactly the colors I'm running in my current commander deck that I just put together and I'm still working on. Muldrotha the Gravetide.
Give it a shimmer into it.
Wow, that's neat. During each of your turns, you may play a land and cast a permanent spell of each permanent type from your graveyard. Yeah, that's killer, man. I love that a lot. Muldrotha, that's a sweet card. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and just sleeve that one up right away. I like that. Oh. Let's get the edge there. Slide it. Be nice and gentle. And we can tuck this bad boy into bed. Yeah. Man, it's. I just want to get it really nice and. These, I've never used these sleeves before, so we're struggling a little bit, but we want to get it nice and tucked in there.
$10.
Yeah, that's a decent card there.
Woo! Oh, it's strange. Oh yeah. So I set it into the wrong mic, or no mic, rather. The Muldrotha foil he got was about $10.
Kodama of the East Tree has reach. It's a 6/6. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser converted mana cost from your hand onto the battlefield. That's a pretty sweet one, too. Even this, these tokens are really cool, man. I really like these this salamander creature is really neat.
Kodama etched foil, $4. So, nothing too special, but it definitely had some great cards in there for your own personal use.
Well, and it's cool, yeah. Just like on the first pull, you know, just seeing how cool these cards look. I'm kind of like getting the ones here that I think for sure will be in some of my decks. Just want to protect him, keep him nice. Just fast forward through all this because it takes forever.
You could always just save the flip case part for the end. Up to you, however you want to do it.
Alrighty. Again, it's just me struggling to open my packs. It's probably painful to watch. Oh, there you go. Captain's Call. Nothing too crazy. Opal Palace. Foundry Inspector. Alright, neat for like an artifact deck. That's kind of cool. Scob Goliath. mean, not really like a good card as far as like play goes, but it looks really cool, and I like the Goliath name. It's pretty neat. Oh, yeah, there we got the Monarch stuff going on. All right. Artifact creature. And there you go. That's a cool thing right there. The pay 2 for target artifact creature gains your choice of flying, trampler, or haste until end of turn. And depending on what other cards you have in that artifact creature deck, that could be pretty valuable. I mean, it is a 5 cost and costs 2 to activate the ability, so not the greatest, but still kind of a cool card there. All right. Nothing super crazy here for this one yet. Adren, Intrepid Archaeologist.
The cards are certainly pretty.
They are gorgeous. This whole salamanders thing's really funny. You and permanents you control have protection from salamanders. And I don't really know, it's so niche, like such a specific thing. Like, I'm wondering how, do you guys have any idea or input on like how that would be good for a deck?
The salamanders?
Oh, maybe you would turn your opponent's creatures into salamanders and then have protection from those salamanders. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, wait, here we go. Let me actually read the text. Maybe that would explain it. At the beginning of your end step, each player who controls the fewest creatures creates a 4/3 blue salamander warrior creature token. Oh, so you want your opponents to swing at each other with the salamander creatures because they can't give you any damage. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's kind of neat. Still, I think it would be cool if you could find a way to turn everybody's creatures into salamanders and just make them kill each other. Austere Command. Boros Charm. All right, here we got Boros Charm. I really like this. I always like options. So it's an instant for 2, a red and a white, and you can deal 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Your permanents can gain indestructible until end of turn, or a target creature gains double strike until end of turn. So that's useful. Sphinx of the Second Sun. It's a 6/6 flyer for 8 mana cost. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you get an additional beginning phase after this phase. So I need a little clarification on the text here. Are you guys a little better with that?
I'll say it to you as simply as I can. You go through your turn, and after. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's basically 2 upkeeps. So, untap, draw. Untap, draw.
Well, you mean untap, upkeep, draw, right?
Right.
So beginning phase, that constitutes like untap and upkeep and draw?
Yep.
Okay.
So you can throw out some instants or, whatever you can do, activate some abilities, and then it untaps, and then you draw again.
And that's just an ongoing effect each turn, right?
Right.
So that is pretty cool.
Ooh, I think that next one's going to be pretty good.
Tormod, the
Oh, never mind.
Desecrator?
Wrong card.
Well, it's a zombie wizard. I like zombies. I have a zombie deck. I run Verena Lich Queen. And it's very much a graveyard-oriented deck. And this says, whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. And I have a lot with the 2/2 zombie creature tokens, and I have like an All Merits archive in that deck and stuff, so you could or an anointed procession actually. So you could actually create like a serious amount of tokens with this, and especially with my graveyard effects in that deck. Like you've seen it, Jerry. Like
Yeah, ironically enough, the card that I thought that was is... Oh, never mind. Yeah, it happened again. That's Nekasar. All right.
there's another zombie. Although this wouldn't be able to run in my deck just because of the colors, but this is a really cool looking card. Nekasar, the Mind Razor. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Nekasar, the Mind Razor, deals 1 damage to that player.
That is one of the better commanders.
Oh, there's Hans. So we got Hans Eriksson. Whenever he attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, defending player or planeswalker they control. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. When you put a creature card onto the battlefield this way, it fights Hans Eriksson. So this is kind of a neat commander. And if you found a way to just really beef up Hans, then you could have some beefy creatures coming out and they're attacking Hans. But
Are those mushrooms or flowers that he's eating there?
they're flowers.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's just smelling them now.
Still a really cool card. I like the foil and the red and green. That's really neat. And then we've got a token, a horror or a zombie on the other side. All right. Next back. All these goblins. Kind of silly. Return target tapped creature to its owner's hand. And draw a card. All right. Staunch Throne Guard. It has vigilance, and then when Staunch Throne Guard enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. I don't know how crazy I am about that whole monarch thing. I don't know.
It's just extra draw. I mean, it's and then the downside would be your opponent could take it from you, but
So, if you wanted to, I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but if you kept blinking this guy, you could keep getting planes cards. That's really only exciting thing about that. Oh, destroy target creature with power 3 or greater. Well, that's not bad. Supreme Will, choose 1. Counter target spell unless its controller plays 3. Not always huge on those types of counter spells. There's always better counter spells, like counter spell itself, obviously. But you can also look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Kanji's Lieutenant. Whenever it attacks, attacking creatures with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. What's this encore right here? Oh, okay. Yep. Got Rogrok, son of Rogok. A 0-cost creature. I think that's kind of funny. Brynlin the Moonkraken. What does that say? Not crazy about it. Court of Grace. When enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you're the monarch, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying instead. I always wanted to do like an angels deck. I think that would be kind of fun. A Fleshbag Marauder. The full art on that one. It's kind of a fun one. Wouldn't mind having that in my zombie deck, actually. Here we have Rakshasa Debaser. Whenever it attacks, put target creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. I really like that. That's a fun card. Especially if someone, I've had games against people who really rely heavily on their graveyard, and it's fun to just take their creatures from them from their graveyard. So I like that a lot. Well, I got 2 of the same card in there. I guess I got this foil one. So
That's $5 right there.
is it? It's
Yeah.
a $5 card.
Quick little hit there.
All right, nice.
I haven't been mentioning it because you haven't gotten anything like super big, but a lot of them were like $10 to $5 each. So
I pulled this one from my other pack earlier, but this one's a foil, so that's really cool.
I'm gonna look up that one quick.
That's a
for you.
neat one. I haven't seen this one yet. Nimrus Una's Trickster. It's a legendary creature, Fairy Knight. It's got flash and flying. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So I do like... So you get stuff in your hand, and then I like graveyard decks a lot. I do. I mean, I like teasing people who have graveyard decks, but I also run graveyard decks, so it's fun. Yeah, that's good. Just filtering through that deck faster. Cool.
How many more do you got there?
Are you talking about packs?
Yeah.
Quite a few. Still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow. Court Street Denizen. Ambush Viper. Ancestral Blade. Skyraker Giant. I got one of those earlier. A Soul's Might. Put X +1/+1. This is another one. I actually think I pulled this one earlier, but this one's a foil. So obviously, always cooler. But I'm running this deck with +1/+1 counters, and I think this is a fun little thing to do. Just double its X, or double its +1/+1 counters on it. So it's fun. Good card for elves. Pride of the Perfect. All right, Grafted War Gear. When it becomes unattached from a permanent, sacrifice that permanent. All right, so the equip cost is 0, which is cool. So you put this out there, give them +3/+2, and just really make them beast from that. It's pretty cool. I've got one of these, Dargo the Shipwrecker. A pirate.
Oh, that's the one that I was talking about before.
This is the one?
Yeah, the one that you're holding. No.
This
Put
one.
that pirate down.
I was like, what about the pirate?
Read that guy. Check that guy out.
Nevinyrral Urborg Tyrant. Oh god, he sounds beast. Just look at him. The sound of his name sounds scary. He's a 6 cost. He's a 3/6, but I'm assuming that the text is going to tell me what's really cool about this. So he's got hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Always good to have hexproof. When it enters the battlefield, create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn. All right. So, hang on a second. So during combat, let's say someone responds and they kill off your creatures, or like even post-combat, they kill off all your creatures, or pre-combat, who knows, whatever. And then you get to a part in your main phase where you can cast this, Now all of a sudden, you're creating a bunch of zombies that just got killed, and now they're all back.
He's really good to play right after a board wipe if you can cast him for flash. So if somebody wipes all your board out and then you play him, you're getting a bunch of stuff back. And then if they kill him, it's another board wipe. So he's pretty rough.
And when he dies, you may pay 1 when you do destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Yeah, that's really boss, man. I like that a lot. It's funny because I've been like excited to get some stuff for this new deck I'm working on, and now I'm finding all these great creature cards and stuff for my zombie deck. But this is really cool. I like it. Set that one over there. Sweet Gum Recluse. It's a spider. Flash, Cascade, Reach. Does the battlefield put 3+1/+1 counters on each of any number of target creatures that enter the battlefield this turn? Alright, it's a neat looking one. Got an extended art Soul Ring, an essential in any commander deck, so that's cool. Body of Knowledge. Body of Knowledge's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever Body of Knowledge is dealt damage, draw that many cards. So you could deal damage to your own creature and draw a bunch of cards. I really like this. This has potential to be a really neat card in the deck. I like that. Wow. Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro. It's a spirit pirate. I'm not really into pirates, I gotta say. Just overall, not really huge into that. But it's still a cool looking card. All right. This is cool, man. Oh my god. Karum Ludovic's Opus. It has flying and haste. It's a 4/4 for 5. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. And it's got partner. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw this as like a this is like a CEDH commander right here. Do you want to look this one up for me, Jerry?
$2.
$2? Oh, okay. Well, it's still a really neat card. Arkelos Lagoon Mystic, the Turtle Shaman. As long as it's tapped, other permanents enter the battlefield tapped. As long as Arkelos is untapped, other permanents enter the battlefield untapped. It's interesting. All right. Malfeld Twins Zombie. Nothing super exciting. Got some equipment. Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Eye Blight colors. Anointer of Valor. Sentinel Spider. Coastline Marauders. Another pirate. You know, as much as I don't really like pirates, I feel like I have so many pirates now from going through these packs that I should just build a pirate deck for the fun of it and see what happens.
Some of them are pretty good.
Oh, a worm. Sifter Worm. It's got trample. When it enters the battlefield, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost. So if you got some high cost stuff and you need some life, that's your guy right there. Emodi, Celebrant of Bounty. It's a legendary creature, Naga Druid. It's got Cascade. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 6 or greater have Cascade. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Now just building a deck like based on the whole Cascade thing. That would be pretty nuts. Alharu, Solemn Ritualist. Enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures. Whenever a non-token creature you control with the +1/+1 counter dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Court of Bounty. It's another monarch effect there. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you're the monarch instead, you may put a creature or land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Okay, that's valuable. I like that. Fact or fiction. Top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Okay. Put one pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Court of Ambition. It's an enchantment. Enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card. If you're the monarch instead, each opponent loses 6 life unless they discard 2 cards. All right. Raya of Master Smith. It's a dwarf artificer. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, that creature gains double strike until end of turn. All right. Dude. I got a Thrasios. That's really cool.
$20.
My brother runs a Thrasios deck. He's going to be so jealous when he sees this. Because I don't know. I don't remember if he has a foil or not. This is really nuts, man.
Nice ball.
I like it. Belbay, Corrupted Observer. Zombie Elf. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, that player adds 2 colors for each of your opponents who lost life this turn. All right. Let's keep her moving. Filigree Familiar. Got one of those. Phyrexian Rager. He does look like he's raging, man. It's like he's at a rave or something. Fall from Favor. Enchant creature. When Fall from Favor enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature and you become the monarch. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step unless that player is the monarch. There's something about this card, isn't there? Isn't this like kind of a pain in the ass?
They made it. Hold on a sec. I think it's a really good popper card. So the format where you can only use commons, no rares or mythics or anything.
Trove Tracker, Thought Vessel. You have no maximum hand size. And you add a colorless. So I kind of like, this is like, to me, this is a better library of Lang because you can use it to add colorless and then you have no maximum hand size. So you get 2 things. I mean, you pay 2 for it, but 2's nothing, especially if you're getting a colorless mana on each turn that it's out there. So that's nice to have. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Oh yeah, we had Fact or Fiction already. I pulled one of these earlier, the Searlock of Scorch Thrash. Player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life.
Ooh, mana burn.
Yeah, it's fun. Amareth the Lustrous. It's a dragon creature. Whenever another opponent enters the battlefield under your control... Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with that permanent, you may reveal that card and put it into your hand. So yeah, if you're doing a big creature deck or something, maybe that could be valuable. Bio-Waste Blob. It's an ooze creature. Oozes you control get +1/+1 at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control a commander, create a token that's a copy of Bio-Waste Blob. So then it could just kind of stack a little bit there. Scry 2, then draw a card.
It's like a McDonald's Jungle Gym.
We got an austere command already. We're seeing some repeats here, so. Rayon, Last of the Obzon, legendary creature, human warrior. When it enters the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever a creature you control dies or is put into the command zone, if it had one or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may put that many +1/+1 counters on target creature. You know what? That might be helpful to me. That's cool. I like that. Lathiel the Bounteous Dawn. At the beginning of each end step, if you gain life this turn, distribute up to that many +1/+1 counters among any number of other target creatures. We got some tokens there. Aqueous Form. Enchanted creature can't be blocked. Ripscale Predator. Got Menace. Just a Menace dinosaur. Kinsbale Courier. Alrighty. Natural Reclamation. Sanitarium Skeleton. Revenant. I like this one a lot, actually. I think it looks really cool. It's like this thing's just ready to devour this poor little rabbit. And I just like graveyard stuff, so again, this is just really cool. You can have a really, really heavy creature coming in if your graveyard's full, so definitely becomes a target. Temur Battle Rage. We had Halana already. Radiant Sarah Archangel. It has flying. Tap another untapped creature you control with flying. Radiant Sarah Archangel gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. We had a Body of Knowledge already. 3 visits to your library for a forest card. Put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Alright. What else? Immaculate Magistrate. Tap to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature for each elf you control. Oh my god. So we were actually playing a game last night. And Jerry, what was the card you had? Like 9. How many elves did you get out there? You had like 60 elf tokens or something like that.
Flourishing Defenses.
So, I mean, you got board wiped, but still, to tap this and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature for each elf you control. Imagine if that creature had haste, or like, it was already out, and then you just beef it up really strong. That's cool. Okay, Brava of Steel Legion. A cat soldier. He looks kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't look like, he kind of looks like a kitten. He's like a kitten, but he's all strong. As long as your turn, create creature tokens you control get +1/+4. Oh, and you can use it to create tokens as well. Okay. Ravo's Soul Tender. It's got flying. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That's nice to have out on the battlefield just at the beginning of your upkeep. Cool. Keep returning stuff from the graveyard. Always like that. Elegeth Crossroads Augur. It's a Sphinx 5/6 for 6. It's got flying. If you would scry a number of cards, draw that many cards instead. All right. We always love card draw. So, cool. I really dig that. It's an interesting looking Sphinx there. All right. Prophetic Prism. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Pay 1 and tap to add 1 mana of any color. I've got an Annoyed Altasaur already that I pulled, but now I got a foil one. Portent of Betrayal. Gaining control of other creatures is always fun. Especially if it's a beefy one. Alright, Pirate's Cutlass. Some more pirate stuff. Alright, Wild Celebrants. May destroy target artifact. Okay. Equip creature +4/+0 and has trample. Trample's always nice. Skilled Animator. When it enters the battlefield, target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 5/5 for as long as Skilled Animator remains on the battlefield. Nice. I've never seen text like that. I'm always used to +1/+1 counters. So I like that. Target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power. Oh, okay, so I didn't read that fully there. All right. So you're just turning an artifact into a creature. Okay. It doesn't still function as that artifact. That it would it? Or would it? Yeah. I assume it would. Keskit, the Flesh Sculptor. Sacrifice 3 other artifacts and or creatures. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the other onto the battlefield. Breach's Brazen Plunderer. I think I had this Goblin Pirate. I pulled this one earlier. Plague Reaver. It's a 6/5 beast for 3. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice each other creature you control. Discard 2 cards. Sacrifice Plague Reaver. Choose target opponent. Return Plague Reaver to the battlefield under that player. All right, just generous gift for just destroying permanents here. Creating tokens. Blasphemous Act. Okay, so that's a good board wipe if there's a lot of creatures out there, I guess. All right. Breaches, Brazen Plunderer, we had one of those before. All right. Rakdos, Lord of Riots. I like this card a lot. That looks really beast. 2 black, 2 red for a 6/6 demon creature. You can't cast the spell unless an opponent lost life this turn. It's got flying and trample. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. Alright, I really like this card. It's neat. Wow.
$3.
Still, it's a neat card. Kamal, Heart of Krosa. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. Until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. It's still a land. All right.
14 on that, Kamal.
Really?
Yeah, he's awesome.
14 for Kamal.
Yeah.
Ghastly Demise. Destroy target non-black creature. Entourage of Trust. Alright. More Monarch stuff. Oven Surveyor. Got one of those. Angel of the Dawn. Supernatural Stamina. I actually did pull a foil from one of my other pulls for the set, so that's cool. Kwambaji Witches. Lightning Rig Crew. 1 damage to each opponent whenever you cast a pirate spell. Untap Lightning Rig Crew. So you just keep casting pirates and keep dealing damage. Alright. We got a Rayav Master Smith already. Prob of the Steel Legion. We had that one. Zot's Will. Choose one if you control a commander. As you cast a spell, you may choose both. Each opponent sacrifices a creature they control with the greatest power. Okay, that's always nice. Exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards, then create X01 black Thrall creature tokens, where X is the greatest power among creature cards exiled this way. Alright. Viscera Seer. Actually pulled one, but this one's got the extended art on it. So. Profane Transfusion. 2 target players exchange life totals. You could create an XX colorless horror artifact creature token where X is the difference between those players' life totals. I really like this card. I think it's a neat... The art on it is really cool. Armix Filigree Thrasher. It's an artifact creature golem. Whenever it attacks, you may discard a card. When you do, target creature defending player controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control plus the number of artifact cards in your graveyard. Now I'm just tempted to like build, and of course I love graveyards, so an artifact graveyard deck would be really sweet. Alright, here we go. There's the man, or the dragon rather, on the box. Prosh, Skyraider of Kerr.
$8.
When you cast a spell, create X01 red kobold creature tokens named Kobolds of Carekeep, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast it. Sacrifice another creature, and it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Blim Comedic Genius. Flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of target permanent you control. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. It's interesting. Alrighty. Boarding Party. Findhorn Elves. Defiant Salvager. Preordain. Seraph of Dawn. Flying Lifelink. Vow of Wildness. Enchant creature gets +3/+3 as trample and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. I like the art, it's pretty cool. This guy's pretty angry. I do have a Victimize in my zombie deck, and now I'm going to use this one because it looks pretty. Alright, cool. Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator. It's more on the pirates, man. It's gotta happen now. I just gotta make a pirate deck. Got the Sphinx already. Port Razor. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. Port Razor can't attack a player it has already attacked this turn. Well, that's always fun. Additional combat phase is nice. So if you have multiple people you're playing against, you could just have you could just keep swinging.
$30 foil.
That is awesome. Just keep swinging, man. You're playing a 4-player commander game and you just keep swinging with Port Razor, and man, finding a way to get it so that you can't block them, you know, that's just nuts. I like that a lot. So now I gotta keep this one set aside. All right.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
We all know what it is, Robbie. It's O. Oh.
Oh.
Okay, acidic slime. Familiar with that. Rings of Bright Hearth. Whenever
Those are some pretty rings.
Whenever you activate an ability, if it isn't a mana ability, you may pay 2. If you do copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. My brother runs this. I can't remember which deck it is, and he's going to make fun of me for not remembering this. But it's pretty sick.
It's full art.
It's pretty sick what he does with this card. I like it a lot. Wow. Tuya Bearclaw. Whenever attacks, get +X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among other creatures you control. Could be valuable. Nice. Yeah! Loving it. I have a Ramos Dragon Engine, but this one is like it's got the full foil effect going on there. It's really pretty. Yeah, like it. Awesome. Kolfener, the last you. Vigilance and reach. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, return up to one target creature card with lesser toughness from your graveyard to your hand. That is cool. Just get stuff back from your graveyard. Always nice to have. All right, we only got a couple more packs to go. Still haven't found that Jeweled Lotus. And you know what? I'm very happy with my pulls. This is just, it's a lot of fun. I'm having fun here. Run away together. I just like the art on this card. It's fun. I haven't seen this before. She's just throwing rose petals, walking with like this really ugly looking zombie creature. Wow.
That's cute.
It is. It's cute. Choose 2 target creatures you control by different 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. Could be a useful instant. Especially like early on in the game, people getting creatures out and you got nothing. You just real quick. Boom, boom, gone. Or at least we'll get them back, but you know. Equipped creature has vigilance, trample, and haste. All right. That's a fun equipment card to have. Scrounging Bendar. It's a cat monkey. All right. Eyeblight Massacre. Strategic planning. Stinger Fling Spider. Open the armory. Searching for an equipment card could be nice. I mean, I don't really have a lot of equipment cards. We're just going through the ones that I've already pulled. Opal Palace. Looks neat. Like that. Achroma's Will. If you control a commander as you cast this spell, you may choose both. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn. Creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until end of turn. Iktakik. Selvage Splicer. When it enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on it and each golem you control. Vile Smasher the Fierce. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, choose an opponent at random. Vile Smasher the Fierce deals damage equal to that spell's converted mana cost to that player or a planeswalker that player controls. It's really low cost, so it's fun. Get it out quick. And then you got some big cost stuff in your deck, and Bam. Obeka, Brute Chronologist. Tap. The player whose turn it is may end the turn. Is there something to that? You guys want to elaborate on that? You got any ideas?
When you end the turn, it basically counters all spells and abilities that are on the stack, so it shuts the stack off.
Oh,
And if
okay, so it's just like an
let's say you have
instant.
3
Okay.
opponents, and it's one of the opponent's turn, and your other opponent is playing a bunch of stuff on his turn, you can tap her and give that one opponent the option to just end the turn, and it shuts everything off.
Okay. So you're starting to pop off, and then someone comes in and says, "Nope, I'm gonna like stop you and get rid of everything." And then you're like, "Okay, so that's on the stack, but I'm gonna tap
That
this
ability
in response."
resolving on the stack counters every ability and spell on the stack, and anything else that anyone can do for the rest of the turn. It ends the turn immediately.
Well, that's pretty beast then.
Yeah, so they would have to respond to you using that ability to get something in before it happens.
That's cool. Doom Traveler. Fiery Cannonade. Lumengrid Gargoyle. Crushing Vines. That poor owl. Workshop Assistant. Again, there was something about artifacts and graveyards with another card, so artifact graveyard card or deck, it's coming up. Horizon Scholar. Faith's Fetters. Enchant permanent. When Faith's Fetters enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Okay. Anara Wolved Familiar. As long as it's your turn, commanders you control have indestructible. Elena Kessig Trapper. Okay, I mean, in a red deck, I could see how this is really good. You have a big creature out there, and then you tap it to add a bunch of red mana, and then maybe that red mana can be used to cast something else big or, deal out a lot of damage. Sweet Gum Recluse. Another Thought Vessel there. Cord of Ire. Essior. Wardwing Familiar. It's got flying. Spells your opponents cast that target 1 or more commanders you control cost 3 more to cast. Zedru, the Great-Hearted. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. Interesting. That could be really cool. I mean, politics-wise.
Politics.
I believe that one.
Oathsworn Sentinel. Oh, what were you going to say, Jerry?
Oh, I was going to say, if you want to know more about Zedru, I can tell you.
Yeah.
You fill your deck with a bunch of negative, permanents, like artifacts. Like, for instance, there's an enchantment that says, in 3 turns, you lose the game. You just throw that at... You couldn't use that one in that deck, but that's an example. So you load yourself up with a bunch of damaging, reckless permanents, and then just give them to your opponents and let them kill your opponents.
Okay, that's cool. Like it. Livio or Oathsworn Sentinel. 1 and a white, choose another target creature. Its controller may exile it with an Aegis counter on it. 2 and a white, tap, return all exiled cards with Aegis counters on them to the battlefield under their owner's control. Alrighty. That wraps it up for me. I'm going to get these cards sleeved up, and we're going to move along to some other box openings.